What's going on YouTube? In today's video we're going to show you how you can install your own trailer hitch on your Ford Explorer. This is a 2016 Ford Explorer, and this did not come with a trailer hitch. Usually they're mounted up in the bumper area, and so this is an aftermarket one because I didn't want to replace the bumper and all that because it would have been more expensive. But this is an aftermarket hitch, and you can see here what it looks like. I was worried that it would be too low to the ground, and in all reality, it's not too bad, as you can see here. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, so here's the Curtis trailer hitch here. I picked it up on Amazon for about 133 bucks. And then I also picked up the trailer wiring kit here, and this was about 35 bucks. I will link both of these products in the description below so you can check them out for yourself. But this one's pretty easy. It just has a connector in it. This shows two connectors here. I think the one that this is actually has one, but this allows you to just intercept or connect a wiring harness to it, and makes it easy. And then you have the four wires for the trailer that you're going to pull, and then you also have the bolts and all that lovely jazz for mounting the trailer hitch up. So here's an assortment of the tools that we used to get all of this taken care of. So you have the 19mm socket for the new bolts that hold the carrier on, or the hitch, and then 18mm to get the old bolts off. Then you got the 5/8 socket and open-ended wrench for the bolt and the nut for the exhaust isolators. And then you got ratchet, assortment of extensions, and then a weeble wobble. Usually don't recommend these because these usually break under pressure, but if you need it, I just moved the exhaust out of the way and it allowed me not to use that. And then I did use an impact, but in all reality you don't have to, but it just made things easier. And then we used these pry bars to kind of help get the exhaust isolators off of the brackets and put them back on. I will link some of these tools in the description below so you can check them out too if you need to. But this is the exhaust tools that we used to get all of this taken care of. So in order to install it, you're going to be removing the exhaust hangers on both sides. And on the right side there's two bolts, and then you got the exhaust hanger. And then on the left side, the passenger side, you have two bolts as well and the exhaust hanger. They also recommend that you remove the exhaust hanger in the middle by the axle. And if you do that to get more room with the exhaust kind of hanging down, I would get a little jack or something like that to hold the exhaust up a little bit, so that way it's not holding or bending anything in the front of the vehicle. But once you get those removed, the exhaust hangers removed and the bolts removed for the brackets, and get the exhaust out of the way a little bit, then you'll be able to start installing the trailer hitch. In order to get the exhaust free from the hangers on the rubber, I would recommend using something like a WD-40 or PB Blaster and spray it in the rubber, so that way it gets a little bit of lube there and makes it easier to get the exhaust hanger out of the rubber isolation from the connector, doohickey, whatever it's called. But that's what I recommend. So I will say, here's the hanger that goes on the passenger side, and here's the hanger on the driver's side. So you have the two bolts there, and then there was also a bolt right here from the factory. Here's the exhaust hanger, and then here's the other side of the hanger. So the third one will not get bolted back up with the hitch, but it did have a third bolt, and that was kind of, if you look at it, this was bolted up to the vehicle, and so this one was bolted this way. So on the hitch, instead of the standard hanger, you're going to have this bolt. You got a bolt with a washer and a washer on the other end, and then a lock nut or nylon lock nut, and that'll allow you to hang the exhaust hanger there, and you'll have it on the other side as well. So that's what you'll do next before you install it. All right, so you're going to take this carriage bolt and this little piece of metal. They give you this wire, so you thread this carriage bolt onto the wire. And then what you're going to do is you're going to take it and put it through the carriage bolt, or through the bracket here. And this is going to go up into the frame. So you're going to have to fish this up into the frame, and then fish this up there, and then this will allow, the wire will allow you to pull it back through. And then you undo this to put the nut on. So now we got the exhaust hangers mounted. Now I will say that since these are rubber, you don't want to tighten it all the way down because you won't need to do that. But since it's a nylon nut, you just tighten it so it's a little bit tight. Allows you to still move it around if you need to. Not super loose. You got these two mounting areas for the bolts. Now they do give you washers, and they're kind of beveled. So you want to put the beveled end down towards the bolt, so that way when it goes up, it compresses. Now on the passenger side, you have a third bolt area, and that was what we were messing with earlier with that little carriage bolt. So on the passenger side, you have 3 bolt areas, and on the driver's side, you only have 2. So here's the end product. As you can see, it's snug up underneath the bumper pretty good. I'm really impressed with how snug it is up on the bumper area. I actually was pretty impressed with the install and how quick it was. Everything on Amazon said about 45 minutes, as long as the exhaust hangers come off pretty easily, which they weren't too bad. This is a 2016, so they weren't too bad. Again, like I said, I was pretty impressed with how snug it is right there up against the bumper. I was more worried about it being too low to the ground, where I've seen it in other vehicles, but not this one. So you can see here where you got the 2 bolts, like I said, and then you have the hangers on the other side. I don't know if you can see that. It's very hard to see, it's right there. Then on this side, you have the 2 bolts. Then you have that third, well, it's not the bolt, it's the washer, or not the washer, but the nut where you had to fish that bolt in there. I'm not really sure why there's a third anchor point on this side, but there is. And then you have the hanger right there for the exhaust. So once you got the exhaust loose on the 2 hangers here, I didn't end up loosening the hanger on the middle here, or deeper into the vehicle. I never ended up doing that because it was enough to loosen the hangers here, but I've heard they recommended to do that, but I didn't do that, and I didn't need to. So it's up to you. It might help for more clearance. I had someone else helping me too, so that helped when I was able to get this up and over the exhaust to get it in the mounting spot. But it might be easier if it's by yourself and you loosen the other exhaust hanger, the third one in the middle, so that way you can get this, because the brackets have to go up and over the exhaust on both sides. So it might be easier if you're doing it just by yourself, that you loosen it even more in the middle. Other than that, if you have any questions about the install, put them in the comment section below. I'd be happy to hear from you. If this video helped you out in any way, go ahead and give me a like. If this is your first time to my channel, please consider subscribing, and I will see you next time.